What is going on, everybody? So we just got the balance post for season 1. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a video on this because there's a lot here. I'm going to be reading it anyway, so I figured I might as well. This might end up being a longer one. I'll try and get some timestamps down there for each section, basically the Vanguard, Duelist, Strategist. So if you want to see those specifically, you can jump to those. But we're going to go over it, and I'm just going to give my thoughts on things. Now, I don't claim to be an expert at this game or anything like that, but I'll just give my initial thoughts on things. But there is a lot here, so we got quite a bit to go through. Yeah, and we'll I got some art for one of the things. Art. Sorry, I meant art. But we'll get to that. Okay. Hello, rivals. As Season 0 draws to a close, our analysis of battle data has revealed significant shifts in team compositions within regular matches, showcasing a vibrant diversity of lineups. However, as the skill level escalates, compositions centered around double shields and ranged have displayed considerable prowess. Despite this, players have continuously honed and experimented with non-compositions and strategies, further enriching the battlefield. For example, a potent combination featured Psylocke and Star-Lord has brought unparalleled map control through high mobility and formidable mid-range damage, while pairings like Namor and Winter Soldier emphasize defensive counterattacks, fortifying the rear lines and seizing opportunities for combat advantage. Whether formations resolved around Hulk's might, or Adam Warlock's team-up abilities, or a selection of heroes tailored for specific scenarios, became clear that players are delving deeper into the world of Marvel Rivals. Hence, in the first half of Season 1, we are set to make balance adjustments to certain heroes, enabling a broader roster to partake in more intricate gameplay, ensuring a richer, more engaging, and diverse gaming experience for all. At the same time, regarding season bonuses and team-ups, we'd like to clarify that given this brief duration of Season 0 and everyone's recent acclimatization to Marvel Rivals, we will not make extensive changes to or adjust team-up abilities in Season 1. Instead, we will make minor adjustments to the existing team-up values. Fear not, for we are planning exciting redesigns and adjustments to team-up abilities in Season 2. But below, we will provide a detailed introduction to the balance adjustments in the first half of Season 1. Suit up, rivals, and prepare to ignite the battle. So yeah, something to note, I believe in one of the earlier balance patches, they weren't giving us numbers and stuff. So it's really nice. This was one of my constructive criticisms that I had about it, is I'd like to see the actual numbers. So it's nice to see that. It looks like it's everywhere. So I really like seeing that. And I think one of the other kind of parts of that was that I'd like to hear like the devs' thoughts on why they're doing it, right? And I think for the most part they did that in certain spots. So yeah, we'll jump into it with Vanguards here. So Captain America, Steve will receive some enhanced survivability, allowing more frequent entering and exiting of combat. Reduced delay time of shield restoration after releasing a living legend from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. Reduce Liberty Rush cooldown from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Increases the base health from 650 to 675. Reduce the energy cost for releasing Freedom Charge, his ultimate ability, from 3400 to 3100, reducing the additional health provided per second to self after releasing it from 110 to 100. I don't really play Cap too much. My thoughts on Cap is like he's fun to play, but I feel for the most part he's just kind of, to me, it's his damage. He doesn't really do much damage. So when he's in your backline, he's just more annoying than anything. And most of the time you just ignore him, focus down the rest of his team, and then you all collapse on him and kill him. Maybe this will help him a bit. I do think he's a fun character to play, so hopefully this gives him a bit more. But yeah, for me, I feel like it's his damage, but obviously you got to be careful not to give him too much damage. Otherwise, he's just a super strong dive character, right? But yeah, Captain America mains, let me know. Is that good? Doctor Strange will be reducing the threat range and increasing the defensive window. Sorcerer Supreme, I assume that's his alt. I don't, I'm a strategist main, so I don't know the names of everything. Reducing the threat range and increasing the defensive window. I kind of wish they did like this and said what it was, but I think that'd be a little bit harder, right? Ultimate ability is one thing. They're not going to say like his shift or his whatever. I guess like, man, I could pop over to the game real quick to see. I don't know if I'm going to do this for every character, but I'm just kind of curious. No, I have Agamotto. I guess that makes sense that that's his name. So what is... Oh, I think they're just generally saying they're increasing his threat range and his defensive window. That's not an ability. They're referring to him. So this is just a general statement, like kind of up here. The Thunder God could, or down here, the Thunder God could use some survivability. Okay, I think it wasn't specifically referring to an ability or anything. Add damage fall off to Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom. Are those both the for me it's the W? Yeah, okay. Add a damage fall off to Maelstrom of Madness and Gamma Maelstrom starting at 5 meters and reducing to 70% at 8 meters. That probably makes sense. I've been playing a little bit of Strange, and I feel like his I was gonna call it his W, but that's probably not what yours is. I feel like that is a pretty strong one where you purge your darkness or whatever. I feel like it's a pretty nice burst of damage, so making it a little bit less threatening at range, I think makes sense, and it kind of forces you to get right up in there. Slightly decrease the shield value recovery rate after releasing Shield of the Seraphim from 80 seconds to 70 seconds. Okay. That's just his normal right click shield, right? Yeah. Oh, 80 per second. The reading's hard. So yeah, so instead of 80 per second, he's only getting 70 per second. Yeah, I mean, his shield is really strong. Let's be honest. It's massive. You can fly up and block Hellas and other things with it. I'm pretty sure it's the biggest shield in the game, right? I don't think anybody else has a shield nearly as big as his. So he can block a lot, and it's like isn't it 800 point shield or something like that? It's pretty meaty, whatever it is. So having it regen a little bit slower probably makes sense. So nerfs all around for poor Strange there, but I do think he's one of the better tanks, if not the kind of go-to. Moving on to Thor. God of Thunder could use some slightly increased survivability and improved the success rate to his ultimate ability. Increases his base health. He gets an extra 25 health from 500 to 525. Added immunity to control effect during God of Thunder. Oh yeah, I guess I don't know if I've ever hit it as Mantis or anything. I don't know if I've ever slept him or froze him with Luna during that, but I guess that's not a thing you can do now. Okay, I mean, I've died to his ult a few times, but I feel like it hasn't been super threatening. It's more his other stuff just pummeling me in the back lines. That's usually the biggest issue. Moving on to Hulk. Now, Hulk, for me personally, is one of my targeted bans. I will ban Hulk and Hela. Those are my two choices. As long as those two get banned, I don't care what else gets banned. Hulk especially, though, as a support main, like just getting slammed in the back lines constantly by a big tanky mother trucker sucks. So yeah, I know he boosts both Strange and Iron Man, especially Iron Man, and that's the main reason for the ban. But for me, I just don't like getting my cheeks clapped by Hulk in the backlines. Banner has been dominant. but some decreased sustained combat capability. Decreased sustained combat capability upon entering the battlefield will bring him more in line with other Vanguards. Reduce the indestructible guard gamma shield value for Hero Hulk from 250 to 200. I assume that's his bubble. It's got 50 less HP on it. I mean, I guess that's fine. I'm still going to ban that ever-loving shit out of him, but all right. Venom, with increased survivability and threat of his ultimate ability, the symbiote menace will strike fear into the backline of all enemy teams. Increase the symbiotic resilience bonus health ratio gain per lost health point from 1 to 1.2. Is that his just his normal shield? I think for me it's my Q. Yeah. And then increase the base damage of Feast of the Abyss from 40 to 50. Okay. I mean, I feel like Venom was in a pretty good spot. I see him used a decent amount. I don't know if he necessarily needed buffs or debuff or nerfs. I guess that's fine. It doesn't look like anything super crazy. Moving on to Duelists. Black Panther. We're slightly decreasing T'Challa's combat survivability. Reduce the additional health provided to self after refreshing Vibranium marks with Spirit Ren 40 to 30, and the upper limit of additional health provided from 120 to 75. That seems pretty significant. Yeah, that seems like a pretty the additional health part especially makes him a little bit less tanky. Again, I don't think I've played Black Panther at all to know how significant that is. I do know when he's diving my ass, it does feel like he's pretty tanky sometimes. So yeah, probably good. I do feel like Black Panther is a little more skill based though. And you have to be pretty decent with him to be effective. Otherwise they kind of get shredded. We'll see how that goes. Black Widow. Natasha was very much in need of optimization when evaluating the release experience. The release experience of her abilities. Wait, that how they're... That's a weird way to word it, I feel. As well as a slight increase to the threat of her ultimate ability. So increase the range of the first effect of Edge Dancer from a 3-meter radius to a 5-meter radius. Is that her kick? A lot of these characters I don't play. For what now? Edge Dancer. Yeah, that's her kick. Okay. Okay, so our first kick is a 5-meter radius instead of 3. Okay. Reduce the time required for Fleetfoot to recover from 0 stamina to full. That's her sprint. From 12 seconds to 4. That's pretty significant. So she's going to be able to run around a little bit more. Reduce the time required for electroplasma explosion. Ultimate ability to reach maximum power from 1 second to 0.6 seconds. Okay. Again, like a lot of these changes, I don't know if they're going to be that significant to bring these characters into favor, but it's probably better to kind of do little bits at a time instead of these big knee-jerk massive changes to these characters, right? But yeah, I mean, I feel like Black Widow gets a bit of a bum rap just because there's better characters to pick, right? But she's not terrible. I don't think there's any character that's really just completely awful. Like Storm is not great, but I think if you're good with any character, you can make them effective. I mean, Shroud's a perfect example of Black Widow. I mean, he's maybe a bit of a crazier example. But like people, I mean, a lot of the people that he plays with could play her too and do well with her. So yeah, I think a lot of the characters are viable, but yeah, some are definitely weaker. But anyway, moving on. I don't know what that really does for her, but I guess she gets to goo on the floor a little bit quicker, I guess. Moving on to Hawkeye, will be decreasing the medium long range damage capability, reducing the threatening combat radius, and slightly improving the close combat resistance for the avenging archer. To slightly reduce the spread angle between every 2 blast arrows. Does anybody actually use blast arrows? That could help. I know when you shoot, wait, every 2 blast arrows. I don't know what they mean by that, because don't you shoot 3 at a time? I thought maybe they kind of brought them together a little bit. I don't know, maybe it's like you shoot 1 volley and then the next volley, they're closer together. I don't know. I'm still not going to use blast arrow. Reduce the triggering distance of passive ability archer's focus from 60 meters to 40 meters. So I believe that's like when you have your mouse or controller or whatever, your crosshair over a target, you start to build up, right? So you do more damage. So before you could do that at 60 meters. Now they're reducing that by pretty significant, 20 meters down to 40. And then reduce the maximum additional damage of the passive from 80 to 70. Okay. So yeah, as you have your crosshair over somebody, that meter builds up, right? So the maximum extra damage on top of your normal damage would be 80. Now it's 70. So they bring that down a little bit. I mean, probably needed. I do think Hawkeye, you still have to be able to aim and hit your shots. But yeah, he is pretty powerful, and there's kind of a reason why well, at least from what I've seen, he's banned so often. So probably good changes there. Moving on to Hela, the goddess of death has been a menace and will slightly decrease and will be slightly decreasing her combat strength by reducing her health by 25. I think there's more coming up, but I mean, she's a little squishier now. I guess that's fine. Magic, the Queen of Limbo needed an increase to her threat after unleashing her ultimate ability. So increased Umbral Incursion damage in Darkchild form from 115 to 135. So pretty significant 20-point damage boost there to Magic. I mean, Magic can be annoying, but I don't feel like she's extremely oppressive. So a little bit more damage on her ultimates, probably fine. Moon Knight, the Hand of Khonshu will receive a slight increase to the threat of his ultimate ability. He needs an increase on that. Increase the number of talents generated by Hand of Khonshu ultimate ability from 10 to 14. So he's getting 4 extra talons. I don't know, man. I get hit by 1 or 2, I'm done. As a support, I get melted in that thing, and usually I can't get out of it. So I don't know if he needs 4 extra little bird claws. But sure. Increase the explosion radius of each talon from 4 meters to 5 meters. And like, I don't think this was necessary. I think Moon Knight was fine as he was. I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased because I'm a squishy little support. But I don't know. I've seen, especially with the Groot combo where Groot ults and then he ults on top of that, everything just dies. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this was necessary, but we'll see how it goes. Namor, we're optimizing the throwing feel of Namor's eggs. Oh, are they eggs? I didn't even realize. They do feel terrible. Adjusting the throw feel of monster spawn and frozen spawn. Now Namor can more accurately throw them to the man. it feels like, I don't know if any of you guys play Rainbow Six Siege. They did some changes to throwing C4, the nitros, and they feel heavy. I feel like these eggs feel real heavy to throw. Like you look way up and they just like drop at your feet. Not really, but they feel very hard to, like, you're standing under a ceiling that's not even that high, and I feel like it's really hard to even throw them up there. So like there's no, you can't really put this into text what they're doing, I guess. I don't know if they're changing the trajectory or the arc or the speed or the weight or whatever. It's really hard to know what they're doing here, so we won't really know until, or I won't really know until I get my hands on it. But that is nice, because I do think that's, aside from his slow projectile, which I don't really like it. I mean, it's fine. I think he's a good character. I personally don't really like his spear throw. It just feels slow. But my other biggest complaint is that throwing these things feels terrible. It's just like they feel like they're a million pounds and you can't throw them anywhere. Psylocke will be providing more options for other heroes to counter the Demon Slayer's ultimate. Good Lord, I hate that thing. I'm biased as a support. I get solo ulted by that shit all the time. Dance the Butterfly ultimate ability will check for barriers, including Magneto's metal bulwark, Hulk's indestructible guard, etc. What does that mean? It'll check for it. Did it just ignore them before or what? I don't know. I do know that a lot of people don't seem to know that the more people you have in that circle, like she's going to spread that damage, right? But if there's only one or two, that's kind of how you want to play her, I feel, is you want to dive the backline and maybe hit 2-3 of their backline squishies and just melt them. Typically, you don't want to drop your ult on a full team because they'll just like soak the damage or heal through it or whatever. But yeah, like when everybody's running out of the ring and I'm trying to be a good teammate by staying in to soak the damage to help everybody else, and then everybody leaves and I just die. I was hoping there was going to be like I could sleep her out of it or something, but looks like she still presses her button and just shreds. But now it's going to, I guess it didn't check for barriers before and just melted through that. I don't know. Not too sure on that one. Punisher, we're slightly increasing the damage capability of Frank's weapons, so slightly reducing the spread of deliverance and adjudication, which are, I think adjudication is his AR and deliverance is his shotgun, so they're just reducing the spread on both, which is, I'm gonna have to change my crosshair because I have a special crosshair I made that was basically the spread of the shotgun. I guess I'll have to adjust that a bit. Yeah, I feel like his shotgun's pretty strong, so it's going to be even stronger now with reduced spread. So we'll see how that goes. Scarlet Witch, we're increasing Wanda's combat strength when she's facing duelists or strategists. So increased chaos controls fixed damage from 50 per second to 60 per second. I assume that's just her left click. I don't have to aim very well, hold my button down and deal damage attack. So she's going to be doing an extra 10 damage a second, which is a little bit scary. Reduce the percentage damage per second from 5% to 3%. I didn't even know she did percentage based damage. A lot of these stats like aren't in the percentage stuff. The more like finer details of some of the stuff aren't actually in game as far as I know. I've had to go to wikis to see it. Wolverine, a prime example of that. I don't even know how to pronounce that. Chthonian bursts projectile damage from 30 to 35. I think that's her right click. I'm just going to assume it's her right click. So that does a little bit more damage. I mean, I know a lot of people didn't like Scarlet Witch because of her ult. But I also feel like a lot of people didn't know to just shoot her out of the sky or move away, because I don't think the range on it is that big. I feel like most Scarlet Witches have to be pretty creative with how they use their ult. I've seen some pretty cool uses of it with like strange portals and stuff like that. But other than that, I do think she's kind of weak. I still hate her don't have to aim very well attack, but she probably needed some buffs there. Storm, another one that I think kind of needed buffs. The Weather Witch needed an overall increase to her damage capability. We're also optimizing the feel of her left click projectile and the release experience. They are calling it that. Instead of like the feel of her whatever, it's the release experience. It's how you feel as you release it. Interesting way to phrase it. Okay. The release experience of her ultimate ability. Increase wind blade projectile speed from 100 meters per second to 150 meters per second, and the left click damage from 50 to 55. Wind blade projectile, I don't know what that is. Wind blade projectile. Oh, wait. Yeah, it's just her left click. Wait. Oh, I guess they refer to it as wind blade here and then just left click here. So it's going to travel faster, which is nice. And it's going to do a little bit more damage. Fair enough. Increase the bolt rush range from 70 to 80. Is that our little zap? We got right click. Little chain lightning. Is it a chain lightning? Oh, who plays Storm, really? Yeah, okay, a little more damage there. After releasing Omega Hurricane, her ultimate, the bonus health provided for herself will be increased from 350. She gets bonus health from that? Again, who plays Storm? Moreover, following its conclusion, the extra health will no longer vanish instantly, but will instead diminish at a rate of 100 per second. Okay, so when you come out of it, you're going to have a little bit extra health for a little bit. It's fine. Squirrel Girl, we're increasing the threat of Doreen and her furry friends and in their ultimate ability. Addition of a new effect to the unbeatable squirrel tsunami. The squirrels will rush towards the nearest enemy after bouncing instead of bouncing randomly. Oh, damn. It's going to make that achievement easier. I think you got to get like 3 KOs in one use. So now that they actually chase people. Okay. Interesting. Reduce the squirrel tsunami health from 600 to 300. Oh, but now they're going to be easier to kill. So yeah, now you lose the randomness of it, but I don't think I've ever killed a squirrel tsunami before. But now it's going to be a lot easier to kill. Okay. Fair enough. Winter Soldier will be adjusting Bucky by decreasing his long-range combat strength and increasing his survivability in medium close-range combat, which I think is where he specializes. So, increase the bonus health provided by Bionic Hook and Tainted Voltage from 30 to 40. Increase Rotter Stern's projectile damage from 70 to 75. So that's going to do a little bit more damage now. That's interesting. Reduce the area damage from 70 to 65 and reduced damage decay from 65% at 40 meters to 60%. Okay. And increases his base health from 25 to 275. Again, like, I don't know. In my experience, a lot of these changes just don't feel that necessary. Like things like the storm change and stuff are fine, but these other ones, I feel like Winter Soldier's a pretty solid character. But yeah, we'll see how this all plays out. Now here, I pre-read this, and I think this one misses the mark. This is one of the ones that I don't know about this one. So Wolverine, Logan will receive an increase to basic combat strength, but a slight decrease to the additional survivability after activating Undying Animal. Increases base health from 300 to 350, so he's getting an extra 50 health. But with his, that's not like a base ability or anything. That's his for me, his W. That's a, like, I don't know what the cooldown is on it. 16 seconds. I don't know if it lasts that whole time. No, it definitely doesn't. I think it only lasts like 3 to 5 seconds or something like that. So they're actually nerfing that. Reduce the damage reduction ratio provided by Undying Animal from 50% to 40%. So he's losing 10% damage resist, but gaining an extra 50 health. I honestly feel like they could have done without this. This is okay. I don't think this was necessary. I don't see a ton of Wolverine, so I can't really say for sure, but I don't know. Like the biggest thing for me with Wolverine is he just feels squishy a lot of the time. He just doesn't feel like Wolverine should. He just doesn't feel, he doesn't feel like durable and tanky enough for what he is, especially because he's got to get in there in melee range. He's got to jump into the enemy lines. Even if he's trying to kidnap, he's got to get in there to do it. And yeah, he just feels a little squishy. So I don't know if this was necessary. I don't know. We'll see how this plays out. I don't know if an extra 50 health is really going to do that much for him, but I've seen some good Wolverines really shred with him, but I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I really want Wolverine to be good. I want to play him and have fun with him. He's one of my favorite characters. So we'll see. I just don't, I'm not super optimistic that's going to do it. Moving on to my main, the Strategists. Cloak and Dagger. Ty and Tandy will receive an increase to their healing capabilities, as well as an expansion to the coverage area of their ultimate ability. Reduce Dagger Storm cooldown from 15 seconds to 12 seconds. That's her right click, I believe, her bubble, which is probably good. It feels like her left click and her healing wave thing. It feels like they don't do that much healing. So I feel like most of the healing done is from Dagger Storm, if your teammates stand in it. So reducing the cooldown on that is kind of nice. Increase the number of dashes in Eternal Bonds, her ultimate, their ultimate, from 3 to 4. So instead of doing 3 dashes, you get an extra dash now. And I believe they all stack too. So if you do all 4 on top of each other, it's quite a bit of healing. Again, if your team plays in it. Moving on to Jeff. This is where we get into some of my artwork, my paint artwork. Just because I'm not sure what's going on here. So we'll be adjusting the range for his ultimate ability, so it now better fits the warning mark. In addition, we'll also be increasing his healing capabilities. So we'll look at this first. Increases the healing of Joyful Splash from 140 per second to 150. I believe that's just his, well, I switched them around. Normally his Aqua Burst, his damage dealing thing, is on his right click, and his splash, his healing, is on left click, but I swapped those around just because left click to me feels like attack, right? And right click is kind of my heal with everybody else. Well, except Luna. But yeah, so they're increasing the healing on this, which, I mean, I feel like it's really strong already. The thing with Jeff is I feel like he just doesn't offer the same kind of utility that other characters do. Like, I do think his it's Jeff, his ultimate can win games, but I just don't think it's the same. It's like on the same level as something like Luna Snow, and just like them having the ice block, Mantis having the sleep, and then the boosting her own damage, boosting teammate damage. There's just, I feel like there's more utility with these two over Jeff. I do still think he's a decent healer, but yeah, for me, it's not his healing, it's his kind of lack of utility. But anyway, so they're adjusting Jeff, his ultimate. They're adjusting the range from a 10-meter sphere, which explains why people were getting pulled out of the air, to a 10-meter radius, 5-meter high cylindrical spell field. So getting into my sweet artwork. So I don't know what they mean by a 10-meter sphere, right? So when I think of a 10-meter sphere, I assume it's 10 meters across, 10 meters up and down, right? And obviously it's a ground thing, so I don't know. I don't know if can I click this? Oh crap, that's not what I wanted at all. Crap, I've ruined my art project. Hold on. Can I still move this? Oops. Can't move it. I'm gonna have to make a new one, I think. Yeah, for some reason I don't know. I don't know how paint works. I'm a Photoshop guy, so anyway. I don't know if that's what they mean by a 10-meter sphere, which would make this 5 meters, right? So again, it would explain why you get grabbed out of the air. It doesn't explain why I get grabbed outside of the circle sometimes. It could be just desync or something. I don't know. But either way, now they're saying it's going to be a 10 meter radius, 5 meter high cylindrical spell field. So obviously this is like a side view, right? So top down, it would be like this. It would be a circle, right? Jeff's indicator is a circle. It would be going up from that, right? So to me, I assume it's still 10 meters across, right? Just the size of his indicator. But now they're saying it's a cylinder instead of a sphere, a 5 meter high cylinder, which to me seems like a buff. Like now you have all this extra area where he's going to be able to catch you. So he's still going to be able to grab you out of the air. If I'm reading this right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sure here. Again, I don't know if when they say a 10-meter sphere, it's like this and like half of it's below ground, or if it's like, it wouldn't make sense if it was all above ground because I get caught on the outer edges all the time. So I'm not really sure what's going on with this, but to me, it seems like they're just buffing it and just giving you extra areas to get caught in as a mobile character. So I don't know. To me, one of my biggest issues with Jeff is that like there's just if as a support main, as a character with no mobility, if Jeff wants to catch me, he's going to. As a Mantis, as a Luna, if he wants to get me, he's going to. He can move faster than me. He can just follow me and keep me in the center of the circle, use it. I'm not going to get out. I'm not. So to me, that's the biggest issue is you just have no real time to react. Unless your character specifically has some kind of built-in mobility or something. So, which is kind of why I'm hoping that Invisible Woman is solid. Because she's got like a jump to maybe get out of it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm not really sure. To me, this sounds like a buff, but I don't really know. I feel like this is going to be worse for flyers now. They're going to be getting caught at the outer edges because it fills more area now. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. Luna Snow, while we've enjoyed her dropping the base, we've made adjustment to Luna's ultimate ability to prevent players from abusing its healing capabilities. So, for starters, that means there is credibility to the spamming of your healing and damage, right? The very common thing is to, for one, switch to, what is it, hold to toggle? Yeah, I think it's hold to toggle. And then you just like spam your button and it pulses between both healing and damage over and over again really quickly. So they're kind of nerfing that. And if they're nerfing that, there must have been some credibility to that being a legitimate strategy. So Instead of 0.1 seconds, it's 0.5 seconds now. I don't know how that's going to feel. Like, I don't know if you're tap spamming it, if you're going to have to like go a little bit slower, you know, like actually yourself go a little bit slower, or if there's just going to be a delay within the game. I'm not sure how that's going to work. It's only a 0.4 second difference, but yeah, I don't think this is the problem. I don't think this really changes anything. I still think it's going to be a way too overtuned ability, and I still think she's going to get banned very often. Personally, we're not going to go too crazy into it because that's not what this video is meant to be. To me personally, I feel like if they want it to be strong and leave it the way it is, I would be fine with that. But they need to make it where these support ults, and again, this is coming from a strategist main, so I'm kind of biased, but I feel like they do pop up way too often. It's like almost every fight, one of these will come out, especially if you got a Luna and a Mantis on a team and they're rotating between them. Every fight you get into, one of these comes down, and it's just like, I'm fine with them being very powerful and changing the tide of a fight, but I feel like they should probably be that should take longer to build up. Now, how you would do that, I don't know. I don't know if you make it where it's you only gain progress on it healing instead of both healing and damage, which I think is the case. I don't know. I don't know how you change that, but I think that's the biggest issue, is that it's way too quick to be able to get these. Like, in terms of Lunas, it does last a long time at 12 seconds. I think it's 12 seconds. I would still be fine with it being 12 seconds if it wasn't up like all the time. It's like, again, every fight you go into, it's either Mantis or Luna popping their thing, and then nobody dies, nobody takes damage. It's just this big cluster of nothing going on. So again, I'm fine with that if it's this huge clutch ult that is very powerful, but it's not there all the time. I think that's the biggest issue with these ults right now, and we're not really seeing those changes. So again, we only haven't had a short season, so I would imagine they're keeping an eye on it. Maybe we'll get bigger changes later on, but yeah, to me, that's the biggest issue with these support ults. Moving on to Mantis, we'll be making Mantis a bit less fleet-footed, reducing her roaming support capability. So reducing Nature's Favor, her passive, so when she's full health, she gets a movement speed boost. And we're going to reduce that from 2.5 down to 1.5 meters per second. So it's a fairly significant reduction. Again, I don't know if that's necessary. I don't think her movement speed is, for me personally, an issue. Again, I'm a little biased because I'm mainly a Mantis main. But even against like enemy Manti, that's not really an issue. Her moving around quickly. But I feel like all the complaints I do see about her is that, or about supports in general, is that they do a little bit too much damage. Which I'm fine with, because I feel like in this dive kind of world, we need to be able to protect ourselves. We don't get the support from anybody else sometimes. So that's why I like playing Mantis and Luna so much, is having the ability to sleep or freeze a dive character to protect myself. That's why I'm looking forward to Invisible Woman with her little sucky zone, and the knockback and being able to go invisible. Yeah, I don't know about the movement speed reduction. I don't know if that was really necessary, but we'll see how that goes. Rocket Raccoon could use an enhancement to his healing capabilities. Increase the healing of repair mode from 60 per second to 70 per second. I assume that's just his, when he shoots out his little ball, right? I don't really play rocket. Yeah, it's when he shoots out his little orb thing. Gonna do it? Let's go. There you go. So yeah, that's gonna be healing what? 70 per second up from 60. I feel a thing with Rocket is he can heal a lot because it's like, I'm pretty sure it's an AoE heal that heals like everybody in the area, right? But because it's kind of lower heals than normal, sometimes it's just you don't have enough burst heals. So I mean, this does help. You're going to be healing more. A lot of times I do see Rockets doing a lot of healing. Again, because it's kind of like more of a group heal, it is nice. I think that's fine. I think all the supports are all pretty viable in their own way. Like I don't think any are really bad. But I'm fine with this. I don't think it's gonna. I don't know. I don't think it's gonna be super significant. But I'm fine with him getting a little boost. So moving on to team up abilities. Now this is a little weird that they've got it down here. Because as far as I understand, they get their damage bonus no matter what, whether they have the team up or not, which it's a whole other topic, but I don't know if seasonal bonuses are a thing that should necessarily be in the game. I know it's a way to kind of control the meta and keep it fresh and all, but I don't know. Again, that's a topic for another video. But yeah, so to further tone down Hawkeye's oppression, we'll be reducing his seasonal buff, reducing Hawkeye's seasonal bonus from 20% to 15%. So to me, that tells me they're keeping those seasonal buffs, the same seasonal buffs that they have now from season 0 into season 1, which, I mean, I guess season 0 doesn't really count as a major season. So I guess it sort of makes sense to keep this going forward. I don't know if they plan to do a change at the split, because as far as I understand with ranked, they're going to do a 3-month season, or seasons in general are going to be 3 months, but they're going to split that in half. For ranked, there's going to be 2 ranked splits. So I don't know if they're going to keep that all through season 1 or if they're going to change this halfway through the season. I would imagine they're probably going to keep it for this whole season, but yeah, in that case, we're going to get basically 4 months of these characters with that seasonal bonus. So we'll see. Moving on, Hela, Thor, and Loki, much like Hawkeye, Hela's overwhelming power will be receiving a slight reduction. So again, she's getting the exact same treatment. Her seasonal bonus is going to go down from 20% to 15%. Luna, Snow, and Namor will be increasing the threat of Namor's frozen spawn, increasing frozen spawn damage from 25 to 27, increasing frozen spawn's slowing effect applied to hit enemies from 25% to 30%, and then increasing the berserk state of frozen spawn from damage from 16 to 18. Again, I feel like Namor is a good character. I was playing him a little bit earlier, and he's not a character I really play at all. But there was like an enemy Black Panther and a Spider-Man, and he felt really good in that game for helping to deal with that. So I think, and that was without a Luna Snow. So yeah, I feel like he's a decent character as it is. But I guess they decided he needed some buffs with the team up. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think he's a decent character as it is. So moving on to Rocket Raccoon, Punisher, and Winter Soldier. One of Rocket's best tools will be available more often. Ammo intervention, invention, not intervention. Will go from a 45-second cooldown down to a 40-second cooldown. So I assume that's the infinite ammo for Punisher and Winter Soldier. which I feel is really strong. I think I had a 51 kill game on Punisher, and I had a rocket on my team, and it was fantastic. And now we're getting reduced spread on Punisher too. So that's going to be a nice little combo. We'll see how much better Punisher feels with that. Scarlet Witch and Magneto, a bit underwhelming. The damage capability of this father-daughter team-up ability will be enhanced. So increases metallic fusion projectile damage from 55 to 60. Increases metallic fusion spell field damage from 30 to 35. There's a spell field? I knew he, with his team-up, he threw like a projectile with his melee. Use chaos energy. On receiving the chaos energy, Magneto can unleash its full force, striking down enemies with his enchanted greatsword.
Magic and magnificent.
Wait. Oh, it's showing between the two. Yeah, hers is whatever.
Magic and magnificent.
Actually, it'll probably say in more detail on Magneto's thing here. Okay, so what are they saying it does? Spell field damage. I didn't even know there was a spell field. I just thought it gave you like a ranged attack to your melee. Oh, maybe it's the splash damage. That might be it. It might be the splash damage. Okay. So I'm going to assume the spell field damage is the splash damage. So up from 30 to 35, and then the damage itself from 55 to 60. Okay. And lastly, Thor, Storm, and Captain America will be enhancing the damage capability of Storm's side of this team up, reducing the cooldown of Charged Gale from 20 seconds to 15 seconds, and then increasing the damage of Charged Gale from 50 to 55. Yeah, maybe we'll see more Storm play. A little bit of a buff to her, along with her other buffs. But yeah, that is basically it. So again, some changes in here. I don't know if they were necessary. Some changes that seem fine. They help out characters like Storm feel a little bit stronger, perhaps. And then some other changes that I think miss the mark and don't really tackle the issues with certain characters. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Again, with all these, it's one thing to read it on paper and kind of make an opinion based on that, but it's a whole other thing once you actually get your hands on them and see how it performs in game. So that's just my thoughts on these. I don't think it's necessary. This is a bad patch notes or anything like that. I think it's fine in most places. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it pans out once the season actually begins, which is very soon. We are about a day and a half, almost exactly a day and a half from when I'm recording this. But yeah, I'll be playing it. I'm excited. I'm going to be one-tricking Invisible Woman right out of the gate, just because I think her kit looks really good. I hope it's good. Yeah, I really like her kit, so I'm excited to play that. I will be doing, I will be streaming that probably on YouTube as well, but over on Twitch, there'll be Twitch drops. Everybody's going to have them. You don't have to come watch me, but if you want to stop by and hang out, I would appreciate you coming by, get yourself some sweet drops. I think the drops are going live right at the start. I know they're going live that day. I don't know if they'll be live exactly at, I think it's 4 a.m. Eastern time. Everything's going live. But we'll see. But yeah, you want those Twitch drops? There's a cool Hela skin. It's got the same kind of color pattern or color tones of the Magneto one, which is like a blue, pink, purple kind of deal. You want to pick yourself up those. Make sure you go support some streamers for that. But yeah, that's about it. It's probably a pretty lengthy one. I'm yapping a lot with these, but hopefully you guys are excited for the new season. I know I am. I can't wait to try out some Invisible Woman. I know you some of you are excited for her skin. But yeah, that's going to do it for now. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think down below. If you think there's some good stuff in here, some bad stuff, whatever. Always fun to have these discussions. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And I will catch you all in the next one.